I am very confident in treating Yang Guofeng's condition. It's just that the treatment will take some time. The man dressed like the villain from the novel finally managed to rewrite the Yang family's storyline. Unexpectedly, Yang Zishi sought to obtain the position of family head. They actually planned to offer their heads. This forced Tang Yu to organize a major plan again. Yang Zishi left the Tang Wan group. They rushed straight to the Jiang family's shrine. At this moment, the old Dr. Jiang is playing chess with an elderly man, watching the approaching Yang Zishi. Old Master Jiang chuckled and stood up to ask, "What brings you here, young friend?" "Elder Jiang, the divine healer. I am Yang Zishi from the Mingyu Yang family. I hope that Elder Jiang, the divine physician, can lend a helping hand. As long as I can cure my father, I will immediately present the check for 1 billion with both hands." Yang Zishi finished speaking and took out a piece of paper from his pocket. The check that had been prepared long ago. Old Dr. Jiang's eyes flashed with a hint of color. "I know about your father's illness. I will not take action to heal. No amount of money is useful." Yang Zishi let out a cold snort. He crumpled the check and threw it at Jiang Leisheng's body. Carrying the offering, I walked into the house. "You won't give it. Leyazi will take it himself." Just as the check was about to be issued to Jiang Leyashi, the divine doctor, the old man who had just finished playing chess appeared before Elder Jiang like a ghost. Gently reaching out, a light pat, the check turned into a pile of shredded paper carried away by the wind. The old man had his hands clasped behind his back. He glanced at the offering standing on the side. The offering rushed towards the old man with a blank expression. In an instant, both sides engaged with their weapons drawn. The Yang family's offering was knocked back a few steps by a punch. Looked at the old man with a face full of egg color, seeing the family shrine suffer losses. Yang Zishi's face turned pale with anger. He knew this couldn't be done today. Eng Heng turned and left the Jiang family clinic. After bringing the offerings onto the car, the two rushed toward the airport without stopping. After driving on the road for a while, suddenly a Mercedes crashed into me from the side. Then Lin Fan got out of the car. Yang Zishi's pupils contracted, turning to get in the car and flee. Unexpectedly, Lin Fan coldly tossed Yang Zishi onto his own car. After the bus arrived at a remote location, Lin Fan dragged the terrified Yang Zishi down from the car. "I didn't come to kill you today. I want to make a deal with you. I will help you become the head of the Yang family. Help me deal with that beast, Tang Yu. Otherwise, Tang Yu, that beast, will help your sister solve your father's illness. The position of the head of the family belongs to him." Yang Zishi immediately felt a surge of crisis. If that bastard Tang helps his sister secure the family head position, then wouldn't that make oneself a clown? Lin Fan suggested with a smile. "Very simple. Aren't they supposed to treat your dad? When the time comes, we'll also take action. As long as your dad is dead, responsibility belongs to them. After you took over the position of the family head, we will take revenge for your dad." I heard that I was actually supposed to go to Master. Yang Zishi's pupils contracted, shaking their head with a fearful expression. "He can't really be considered a good person. But there are still my own bottom lines." Lin Fan let out a cold laugh and pulled out a black pill. Before Yang Zishi could react, it was forcefully fed in the import. Then he did it again just like before, gave a similar poison to the Yang family's offering beside. After Yang Zishi left with the Yang family's offerings, Bai Sha on the side suddenly spoke after receiving a phone call. "Lon Shuai, there are two good news. The Killer Queen has arrived in Suhang." Lin Fan looked somewhat surprised. Please invite this extremely skilled assassin queen over." After hearing the news, Lin Fan's face was filled with wild joy. The value of this item is far more precious than the wine trade. After the emperor's motivator took this substance, can improve significantly. After Tang Yu left the Tengwan group, begin driving home to start preparing for the Yang family's matters. He specifically confirmed with Jiang Zhaoyu. It was confirmed that Yang Zishi did indeed visit the Jiang family, and after not gaining any benefits, I knew the plot was indeed developing according to the system's spoilers. Tang Yu planned to turn the tables, seize this opportunity to take down Lin Fan, hit it big with a wave of rewards. As Tang Yu was pondering the detailed plan in her heart, he suddenly noticed a black car following him from a distance. This made Tang Yu realize something was wrong. Decisively took out the phone to send a message to Lin Hanchai and the two girls. Let them come over to help. After sending the message, Tang Yu deliberately drove the car onto the small road. The man dressed as the villain from the novel. But on the way home, someone was following him. Tang Yu realized something was wrong. Hurriedly sent a message to Lin Hanchai and the two girls. Then drove the car to a secluded area near the reservoir. After getting off the bus, as expected, that car also came to a halt. At that moment, a woman with delicate features got out of the car, a mane of light golden hair tied into a ponytail, wearing a black bodycon skirt. With her slightly cold and fierce temperament, it made Tang Yu think of a profession. Female investigator. Tang Yu sighed sadly. Yang Chen has no handsome guys or girls. Why resort to violence? It's wonderful for everyone to sit down and talk about love. As soon as she finished speaking, the woman has turned into a fleeting shadow, disappearing from the spot. Meanwhile, a cold light pierced towards Tang Yu's neck. This quick, lightning-fast strike is impossible to defend against. The woman's figure was so swift it was hard to capture. Fortunately, Tang Yu relied on the immovable condensation kingbow, blocked the opponent's blade for a moment. Using the agility of the golden red oil dragon, I dodged this insidious and eerie thrust. After dodging the opponent's attack, Tang Yu swung her fist and struck the woman's arm. After this punch landed, Tang Yu felt as if she had hit a piece of paper. The other party lightly stepped back a few paces. The two sides opened a distance of several meters. Tang Yu lowered her head to look at the butterfly knife that the woman had just dropped. He immediately recalled the identity of this woman. The top assassin ranked second on the killer list, Queen. In the original plot, she was originally hired by an enemy of the Dragon King to assassinate him. After several failed assassination attempts, instead, she befriended the Dragon King. Thus, she became one of the dozens of concubines of the Dragon King. If I remember correctly, this woman should be at the peak of Xuan's self-destruction power. Many experts in the mid-stage of the emperor's self-destruction have died at her hands. It mainly relies on her speed and poison. Fortunately, neither of these two brothers is afraid. The queen was slightly taken aback. Wasn't this guy just silent a moment ago? Where does the sound come from? What surprised her even more was that this guy really knows himself so well. Tang Yu has been standing still for 30 seconds without any issues. She had to get serious. Actually, using a butterfly knife to stab is not the real killing move. The real killer move is on the knife. She dropped the knife on the ground to poison. The knife has a special switch. It will emit a toxic gas after landing. As long as you stand within 1 meter of the knife, you will be poisoned and fall to the ground in 10 seconds. But this guy can stand for so long without any issues. I just heard it correctly. When she was ready to strike again, Tang Yu suddenly leaned back. Kneeling on the ground, he began to twitch slightly. The queen thought this guy had finally succumbed to the poison. But the voice just now sounded again. "Brother knows what kind of reaction you'll have after being poisoned. First, let me trick you a bit. The queen is very certain. This is definitely the voice of that despicable man. So she played along with the plan. Hide the butterfly knife in your hand. Get ready to sneak up and stab the strange guy with a knife when the distance between both sides closed to 1 meter. Just as she was about to make her move, Tang Yu made the first move. Her thumb was constantly resting on the inverted fragrance ring. Gently press. An invisible, colorless gas was extracted from the ring. The queen was about to draw her sword forward. Suddenly, I found myself falling backwards. This made her suddenly panic. The body seemed to lose control. Ming wanted to move forward and attack, but it automatically fell backward. This situation, she would only encounter it if she drank too much. Just when she was in a panic, a crisp sound rang by her ear. Suddenly, a searing pain shot through my backside. The queen was instantly filled with shame and anger. This bastard unexpectedly took the opportunity to hit himself. As the 1 minute effect is about to end, Tang Yu stepped back a few steps and then sprinted towards the spaceship. A kick sent the queen flying several meters away. The queen rolled on the ground for a few rounds before. The body has finally regained complete control. Biting her lip tightly, she stared at Tang Yu. His face was filled with murderous intent. But she was angry nonetheless. In the end, I still haven't truly lost my sanity. This guy just poisoned himself. She didn't understand. If you approach recklessly again, it might just fall into the trap again. At that moment, her ears twitched, heard the sound of a car coming from afar, looking at Tang Yu fiercely. "Next time, I will definitely kill you." She hurriedly ran to the car. Step on the gas and quickly run away. The man dressed like the villain from the novel just escaped an assassination attempt by the queen's assassin. Hastily rushed to the Yang family to treat Yang Guofeng. Following Yang Jilan into the Yang family home, she saw Yang Zishi. The last time the two met, the two had quite an unpleasant quarrel. But this time, after seeing Tang Yu, Yang Zishi revealed a warm smile, shaking hands and exchanging pleasantries with Tang Yu. Tang Yu could only smile and go along with this guy's act. Even one's own father can be killed. It's too late for morality. Lin Fan should have already sneaked in. I don't know where they are hiding. We'll settle the account together later. Today, none can escape. After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, Yang Jilen's expression slightly changed. Even dad can kill. What does this mean? When will Lin Fan return to the Yang family again? Yang Jilen's mood instantly turned extremely anxious. I plan to greet the bodyguards later. Keep them on guard. As long as Lin Fan comes out this time, we can't let him get away, no matter what. Tang Yu walked into Yang Guofeng's bedroom. Yang Guofeng was lying on the bed, his pale face shadowed. His face was waxy yellow, showing signs of pain. Seeing Tang Yu arrive, his eyes brightened slightly, revealing a glimmer of hope. Tang Yu invited everyone out of the room. He pulled a small bottle out of his pocket. This is the ointment he concocted at home these past 2 days. This thing is better described as an ointment. It's more like a poison. However, to resolve the deep-rooted poison of Yang Guofeng, using poison to fight poison is the best choice. Uncle Yan, this ointment may hurt a bit when applied. Just endure for an hour. I'll go out first to have someone prepare a detox potion for you. After taking the medicine, your illness will be fine. After speaking with Yang Guofeng, Tang Yu leaned closer and whispered a few words in his ear. Yang Guofeng's expression changed instantly. He nodded with a sullen expression. After finalizing things with him, Tang Yu quickly left his room. The Yang family is waiting outside. Tang Yu handed a prepared prescription to Yang Zishi. I have already had someone apply the ointment for him. I'll drink a detox soup later, and it will be fine. This is a prescription. Please ask Yang Shao to send someone to prepare the medicine. Yang Zishi bowed and thanked Tang Yu. But inside I was already laughing with joy. Indeed, everything is just as Lin Fan said. Next, he just needs to stir his hands and feet in the medicinal soup. Just put the medicine Lin Fan gave you inside. After the medicinal herbs are delivered to the kitchen, Yang Zishi focused intently on the medicine in the kitchen. After the medicine is ready, he took out a packet of powder and poured it into the medicinal soup. After taking a couple of deep breaths, after bringing the medicinal soup to my father's bedside, Yang Guofeng, lying on the bed, looks much better now, but he was staring intently at his son. Yang Guofeng reached out to take the herbal medicine from his hand. With a backhand, it landed on his face, splashed with scalding medicinal soup all over the face. After realizing something, Yang Zishi looked at his father anxiously. Yang Guofeng threw a phone at Yang Zishi with a dark expression. Yang Zishi quickly picked it up and took a look. The phone's screen shows the perspective of the camera. This camera just happened to capture the kitchen. This made his face turn pale instantly. Just now my own actions. Isn't it clear as day to Dad? Indeed, Yang Guofeng, filled with rage, grabbed a nearby vase, smashed hard on Yang Zishi's face. He never expected that the ghost was actually his son. This bastard, colluding with outsiders to harm one's own father. Yang Zishi was hit on the head by a vase. Suddenly everything went dark, and I passed out. Yang Guofeng looked at Tang Yu and asked, Tang Ziyi really made you right. This guy really hooked up with Lin Fan. Tang Yu gave a rough explanation. Regarding Tang Yu's words, Yang Guofeng has nothing to be questioned about. He gritted his teeth and said, So that bastard Lin Fan is hiding in my house now. Tang Yu nodded. Yes. His target is Uncle Yang. Next is my turn. We can start closing the door and dealing with the dogs. Yang Guofeng felt a bit dizzy with anger. Instruct Yang Zilen to have the family cooperate with Tang Yu's actions. Make sure to capture Lin Fan. At this moment, Lin Fan is squatting in the restroom wearing a common person's uniform. It's been so long without any news. Lin Fan began to sense that something was wrong. Yang Zishi hasn't sent any updates. Moreover, the footsteps outside the restroom grew increasingly frequent. From his experience, this feels more like a search for something. A sense of danger spread over his heart. Lin Fan no longer hesitated. Decide to take the initiative and see what the situation is. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. After catching the rebellious son of the Yang family, once again, the Yang family cooperated with him to give Lin Fan a hard time. At this moment, Lin Fan, dressed in the uniform of the mediocre, began to sense something was amiss. Decide to take the initiative and see the situation. He just walked out of the bathroom. I saw a group of bodyguards in black searching the house like hunting dogs. After seeing Lin Fan come out, the bodyguard immediately shouted, He is here. The other bodyguards reacted. He decisively drew his gun and attacked Lin Fan. Lin Fan was instantly dumbfounded, tensed up. The body dashed into the crowd of bodyguards like a cheetah. This made the bodyguards hesitate and find it inconvenient to shoot. Their moment of hesitation. For Lin Fan, It was a great opportunity to attack. He coldly smiled and pushed his speed to the limit. Each punch can send a bodyguard flying. The two women, Chai Ying and Lin Han, rushed in from outside. Meanwhile, the two attendants from the Yang family also rushed over. Soon the battlefield transformed into a clash between 4 early-stage emperors and 1 mid-stage emperor. The other bodyguards hesitated to shoot due to fear of collateral damage. Can only step back and watch with a gun. They can't help. Tang Yu can only go alone. He walked down the stairs step by step with his hands in his pockets, shouting as he walked, "Lin Fan, today is your day of death." With Tang Yu's loud shout, Lin Fan's expression changed instantly. He was just busy fighting with 4 people. There is simply no time to be distracted and look around. After noticing Tang Yu now, he finally realized that the real danger had arrived. In a showdown between experts, distraction is the greatest taboo. This moment of distraction gave Lin Han the opportunity he needed. A kick aimed at his groin. After this kick, his body swayed slightly. The other 3 seized the opportunity and attacked simultaneously. The situation was originally evenly matched. Because of this moment of distraction, Lin Fan instantly fell into a disadvantage. He took at least a dozen punches. Still got 2 stabs from Chai Ying. The sense of crisis between life and death lingered in his heart. Lin Fan suddenly realized that the energy within him had changed. He carefully sensed it, could not help but show a face full of joy. At the brink of life and death, I actually broke the mirror myself, from the midterm of self-destruction, successfully broke through to the pinnacle of the earth realm. He, who had just moments ago been filled with despair, at this moment he burst into laughter. A backhand punch struck a member of the Yang family. A terrifying force. Directly sent the Yang family's offerings flying out. Another Yang family devotee witnessed this scene. It was just a moment of distraction. He punched me right in the chest. Sent away on the spot. Chai Ying and Lin Han's 2 daughters reacted afterwards. Quickly retreat to create distance. Originally with a calm and smiling face, Tang Yu walked down the stairs. Her expression became a bit awkward. Lin Fan burst into laughter. "Tang Yu, you cunning bastard." Unexpectedly instead, not waiting for him to finish speaking, Tang Yu directly interrupted him. "Shoot him dead." The bodyguards finally reacted. Lin Fan was now alone. They frantically pressed the trigger. Bullets are as if they cost nothing, desperately aimed at Lin Fan. But after reaching the peak of self-destruction, Lin Fan's speed significantly increased again. These handguns no longer pose any threat to him. After dodging the bullet, rushed into the bodyguards and started a violent rampage. After dealing with the bodyguard, Lin Fan roared and charged at Tang Yu, just like that fist the size of a sandpot. The moment before it hits Tang Yu's forehead, suddenly his body fell backward, actually rolled down the stairs. Reversed to the comedic shout of Zhang Sheng, Tang Yu couldn't help but praise, as expected from the dog system production. Then he picked up the pistol that had fallen at his feet without a word. Several bullets shot out from the gun's muzzle. At the moment of imminent impact with Lin Fan, with a roll of the body, he managed to dodge everything. He has already noticed something unusual about his body. The body's nerves are malfunctioning and completely uncontrollable. After about 10 seconds, he realized that everything in his body had turned upside down. When he understood all of this, finally I can start to regain some control over my body. Half a minute has already passed. Tang Yu didn't dare to distance himself from this bastard. He chose to take the initiative and approach. Only by getting close to this guy, Only I can use the reversal gun to maintain control. Teng Yu pulled out 2 daggers. Lin Fan struggled to control his body and barely dodged. Teng Yu seized the opportunity. A kick swept across and hit Lin Fan. As he knocked him to the ground, he used the reversal gun again, hand over the control. Then the right hand thrust a knife towards Lin Fan's groin. Lin Fan instinctively wanted to move back. As a result, the knife struck solidly into the stomach. The man has just become the ultimate villain from the novel. Just pin the protagonist to the ground and beat them. But Lin Fan is, after all, at the peak of his strength. Striving to gather true energy strengthened the body's defensive capabilities. After seeing that the recent strike didn't cause much damage, Teng Yu's determination grew stronger. We must take action against the most vulnerable. Exactly 5 minutes. Teng Yu and Lin Fan have been exchanging blows back and forth. Basically, Teng Yu makes a move every 3 strikes. Lin Fan could find a chance to kick Teng Yu. Teng Yu guarantees that every strike hits its mark. Lin Fan's foot missed the target entirely. This feeling made Lin Fan want to spit blood. The only thing he felt fortunate about was, in his continuous struggle, it still remained completely intact in the crotch of the pants. Teng Yu was anxious and restless at this moment. The fragrance of reversal can only be used 10 times. Used it once against the queen before. Now it has been used 6 times in succession. This means using it 3 more times. The scent of reversal has completely run out. So he decided to change his strategy. A knife plunged fiercely into Lin Fan's heart. Lin Fan rolled to the side to evade the attack. A sudden sharp pain shot through my groin. He didn't have time to let out a heart-wrenching scream. Teng Yu had already raised the knife and brought it down. He cleared away his busy roots. At the same time, he kicked his leg away with a sweep. Lying on the ground, Lin Fan was shocked by what he saw. Just as it was about to fly out the door, he struggled to get up, reclaiming one's wisdom. At that moment, a car suddenly rushed in. Lin Fan's insight just happened to fly by. After being hit by this car, they flew back again and crashed into the wall. Lin Fan felt a sudden darkness in his eyes. I felt the surge in my heart rise to my throat. Spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. Driving in was Bai Sha. Today, Lin Fan's task is to intercept outside, prevent Teng Yu from escaping. He squatted outside and waited for half a day. Only then did I realize that my dragon lord Teng Yu was being pinned down and beaten. So he drove here in a hurry to save the master. Seeing Lin Fan in such a pitiful state, Bai Sha helped him up with tears in her eyes. Lin Hanchu charged forward with the silver coins and attacked fiercely. Long Shuai, you go. I will block them. He gritted his teeth and quickly swallowed a capsule. Temporarily boost your combat power. Hold these people back to give Long Shuai a chance to escape. Lin Fan was extremely unwilling but had no choice. The strange feeling on my body has also disappeared. He decisively stepped on the gas. The car shot out of the Yang family's compound like an arrow released from a bow. As he drove away, a red box fell from him. Lin Fan, who was in a hurry to escape, didn't notice. Teng Yu realized it. He hurried over to pick up the red box. I opened it and took a look. Inside there was a golden, shining fruit. The shape and size are similar to that of a dragon fruit, emitting a pleasant fragrance. Teng Yu stared for a few moments. I quickly remembered what this thing is. It is indeed the Xuanqi fruit. This item is a treasure that appears in the middle of the original plot, after that old monster from the Dragon Soul organization got it. Someone gifts the Dragon King to help him enhance his power. With the help of this object, Yi Chen's self-destruction progressed from the initial stage to the mid-stage. Now the night has turned cool. Thus, this thing came into Lin Fan's hands. With this object combined with the 9 transformation pill, Tang Yu now has full confidence to break through to the earth and end his life. Bai Sha and Lin Han fought for just a few minutes, quickly pinned to the ground and beaten fiercely. Yang Jilan, who has been watching from above, let our private medical team take the injured for treatment. During this time, Tang Yu personally went to the kitchen to prepare the medicinal soup that Yang Guofeng needed. Yang Guofeng drank the bowl of medicinal soup. The person's expression noticeably improved a few notches. He already knows the situation downstairs. He has mobilized all the connections of the Yang family, even took out 5 billion in dividends. Yang Guofeng smiled and said, "I will remember this kindness in my heart. I will fulfill the conditions I promised you before. As long as this organization called Longhan troubles you, the Yang family will never decline to help when needed." Tang Yu started to laugh. If the Yang family stands up as an ally, it is indeed a great help. At least from now on, the Longhan organization must first get past the Yang family to develop their influence in Mingju. Yang Guofeng let out a long sigh, looking at Tang Yu Dao. "Xiao Tang, I plan to have Jilan take over the Yang family in 2 years. But her Yannin syndrome is very difficult to treat. I don't know if you have any solutions." The man dressed like the villain from the novel, after severing the protagonist's enlightenment, received a request from Yang Guofeng, have her help treat Yang Jillian's Yannan syndrome. Upon hearing Yang Guofeng's request, Tang Yu was momentarily stunned. Yang Jillian's Yannan condition really needs a solution, but this thing is just a bump. If you don't heal yourself, at that time, Lin Fan found a loophole. She had to immediately lead the Yang family to defect. However, her treatment methods are indeed more sophisticated than those of Lin Fan and his group. By the time Tang Yu came to his senses, Yang Jilan has already gone far away. After she walked out, Yang Jilan was standing in the pavilion by the artificial lake. Tang Yu quickly ran into the pavilion and greeted cheerfully. "Uncle Yang talked to me. I plan to make you the head of the family." Yang Jilan's expression showed a hint of confusion. She is very confident in her abilities. The position of the family head is not that easy to sit in. I saw the confusion on her face. Tang Yu also guessed what she was thinking. "So Uncle Yang wants me to talk to you. You need to get treatment for this illness. Otherwise, the head of the family wouldn't be able to interact with others right." "I don't need treatment. I just hate men," Yang Jilan said sharply. She has heard Tang Yu's heart's voice, knowing that this illness can be cured. "I will fall in love with the doctor who heals me. We can't let this guy get away with it." "What's the reason?" "You can't blame others for your poor encounters. I just think all men in the world are trash. There are still many good men in the world. For someone like me, imagine you are a charming man just like me. Some girls are deeply devoted to you. Your refusal. She is likely to be melancholic for her entire life, rather than let each other suffer. Why not be more open-hearted and accept them before Tang Yu finishes his nonsense?" Yang Jilan stormed off in anger. "I really don't want to listen to this guy's nonsense." Seeing Yang Jillian's distant figure, Tang Yu chuckled darkly. She did it on purpose. This woman's aversion to difficulty is becoming more severe, especially after her father's illness was cured. Her only heartache was gone. In this way, her heart would grow even more desolate. She needs treatment. The first step is to break her state of mind. commonly known as breaking her heart. Tang Yu sat in the pavilion and asked in the heart's nest, "Dog system, what about the reward?" The system showed no response. This puzzled Tang Yu a bit. "What's going on?" "Is this to determine if the plot is not yet complete?" Then Tang Yu figured it out. "It seems that my recent treatment approach was not sufficient. It was just purely making her heart unable to come down." Tang Yu muttered a few words to himself, got up and prepared to go back. After confirming with the butler about Yang Jailan's room, Tang Yu quickly ran to the door and knocked. There was no response inside, but a doctor was quietly observing the still figure of Jing's. Still, I leaned against the door and listened for a moment. All that could be heard in the room was the sound of running water. After making a decision in my heart, Tang Yu tried to twist it. "I haven't had a chance to say hello yet." I saw Yang Jilan wrapped in a towel, walked out from the wardrobe in the bedroom. Yang Jailan's eyes instantly filled with tears. He directly picked up a vase. Tang Yu saw that the situation was not good and turned to run, because I didn't want to pay attention to Tang Yu. Yang Jilan did not come down for dinner, but had a common person deliver the meal to her room, bathed in sunlight. Her heart, once chaotic like wild grass, gradually calms down. Then she saw on the balcony of the next room. A figure appeared. Tang Yu stood on the neighboring balcony, striving to force out a handsome smile, jumped onto the balcony railing and sat down. "If you have time, deal with this illness." "Unhealable." Yang Jilan stood up and was about to return to her room. In the original storyline, Yang Guofeng was healed. He is treating the flamboyant male syndrome. This is clearly not a matter of resistance. I can't figure out what this woman really wants. Ji's treatment is different from Lin Fan and the others. Even if it's healed, it won't rebound "I love you, brother" after hearing Tang Yu's true feelings. Yang Jilan was slightly taken aback. This guy's treatment. There will be no side effects. If that's the case, he really doesn't need to worry so much anymore. Thank you for your trouble. Yang Jilan nodded, her tone becoming much more polite. "Hey, there's no need to be polite with me." Tang Yu explained a few things to Yang Jailan. "Let the incompetent from the Yang family send over 10 or so fire cupping jars. He wants to treat with cupping therapy. Remove the toxins from Yang Jilan's body. After the cupping is done," Tang Yu used massage techniques again, "help him expel the toxins from his body." The man dressed like the villain from the novel, in order to obtain the super gift pack from the system rewards. Repeatedly entangled with Yang Jilan, make yourself develop a hatred for annoying men. After working hard for almost 20 minutes, I saw Yang Jailan was almost asleep. Tang Yu immediately woke him up. Perhaps it was because it felt too comfortable. Yang Jilan couldn't be bothered to get up. He grabbed the blanket next to him and covered himself. So he took the initiative to chat with Tang Yu. Seeing this reaction, Tang Yu knew that his treatment was still very effective. He is no longer allergic to men. There is even a desire for active communication. After returning to my room, Tang Yu began to request rewards from the system. But this time the system remained silent. Tang Yu was stunned on the spot. After calling out a few times in my heart, Tang Yu suddenly noticed that the scenery around him began to change. The divine tree transformed from Dojin's seed reappeared before him. But this time, the divine tree looks noticeably different. Originally, its glow almost illuminated the entire void, but now the divine tree can only illuminate a large nearby area. The other spaces seemed to be swallowed by darkness. An invisible force is clearly suppressing this divine tree. Tang Yu felt it after. I just realized that this power suppressing the divine tree feels somewhat familiar. It seems to be the system. After sensing Tang Yu's thoughts, the sacred tree swayed slightly a few times, responded to Tang Yu's thoughts. After receiving a response from the divine tree, Tang Yuxin could only think of one thing, a huge shock. He said that this time the book transmission system isn't as troublesome. It turns out that everything relies on the divine tree transformed from the Tao Yuan seed to resist it. The aura of the divine tree has noticeably weakened. Tang Yu frowned. What do you need me to do? As soon as he finished speaking, the red box he placed in his clothes floated out. The box opened automatically. The mysterious artifact flew towards the divine tree and was swallowed by it. Soon, fruits began to grow on the branches of the divine tree. These fruits are growing at a visible speed, ultimately transformed into mystical fruit hanging from the branches. A sudden influx of heavyweight rewards has appeared. Tang Yu felt a bit surreal, but the divine tree came into contact with these mysterious fruits. The obvious breath has weakened considerably. The leaves began to wither and fall. The power suppressing the divine tree became increasingly apparent. This made Tang Yu's heart sink as well. What if the divine tree is gone? Then wouldn't that just mean game over for oneself? This is a scene that suddenly flashed in Tang Yu's mind. Lin Fan appears on the screen. He stood at the entrance of the Wen family home, surrounded by a large group of experts. They are all bright, green square mirrors. There are even two peak experts from the Daizai Jing. This seed is somewhat similar to the Tao Yuan seed he obtained. Tang Yu can feel the divine tree has a strong desire for this thing. Do you want this? After the screen ends, Tang Yu looked at the divine tree and asked. The divine tree gently swayed. The surroundings quickly returned to the room. The red box in Tang Yu's hand was already empty. I am the Zankai Guo. Tang Yu widened her eyes. As his heart stirred, several Xuanqi fruits immediately appeared beside. Tang Yu carefully confirmed it in his hands. This is similar to the mysterious fruit obtained from Lin Fan. The quality should be even better. This is considered an enhanced version of the 9 turns pill. Only 3 can be eaten. Looking at these few mysterious fruit in my hand, Tang Yu estimated that if he ate 3 of them, the strength broke through from the Xuan stage mid-level to the Dai stage mid-level. It should be a done deal. But he wasn't feeling very happy at the moment. My mood has become somewhat heavy. The Dragon Soul organization has sent a large number of people over. I think of the masters of the Earth character mirror I saw in the picture. Tang Yu furrowed her brows tightly. It seems that after experiencing multiple failures, the old monster hiding behind the curtain is losing patience. After thinking for a moment, Tang Yu tried to take out all the mysterious fruits. Counted exactly 70 pieces. These mysterious treasures are all produced by the divine tree. Tang Yuxin had a sudden thought. The divine tree space can be withdrawn at any time. After clarifying my thoughts, Tang Yu decisively called Lin Han and Chai Ying over. Compared to breaking through oneself, Tang Yu needs the 2 women to improve their strength first. Tang Yu pushed forward 6 Xuanqi fruits in front of the 2 girls. 1 person, 3 seeds. Go ahead and eat. Tang Yu also started eating 3 Xuanqi fruits. Spent half an hour. The 3 of them finished digesting. Chai Ying and Lin Han's 2 daughters failed to break through to the Tianjin mirror. It only mentioned the peak of the Earth mirror. Tang Yu was filled with determination. From the Xuan character mirror's mid-phase, it surged into the Dai character mirror's mid-phase. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel because of successfully surviving the plot. thus obtained the mystical artifact fruit from the divine tree that enhances cultivation. Tang Yu quickly called Lin Han and Chai Ying to eat together. 30 minutes later, the cultivation of the three individuals has significantly improved. At this moment, Tang Yu couldn't feel happy, because the Dragon Soul organization has dispatched a large number of people, the thighs of two peak geodetic mirrors, a self-deprecating smile, looking as disheveled as a stray dog. At this moment of despair, suddenly he remembered an extremely important clue. The kid with the surname Tang doesn't know what means he used. Able to interfere with one's control over the body. But his strength is not as strong as he imagined. After thinking for a moment, his gaze sharpened once again. Then he took out his phone, decided to report the situation to the old Dragon King, and request support. Lin Han gritted his teeth and reported the situation. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. Slowly spoke up. I already know about Mingju's situation. A day ago, I dispatched 12 earthly branches to Seoju and Hangzhou. They have already taken action in Seoju and Hangzhou. You will be in charge of commanding after you arrive. I also placed a few pieces in Seoju and Hangzhou. They will also join forces. If we can't capture Su and Hang this time, the Dragon Soul organization was humiliated. You don't have to come back anymore. The call ended as soon as I finished speaking. At this moment, Lin Han, who was terrified by the ultimatum, did not feel fear. Instead, they were excited from the bottom of their hearts. He doesn't know how big the organization is, but he still knows the 12 earthly branches. This special squad, they each started with strength at the mid-level of the Earth character mirror. Even the captain and vice-captain are peak-level talents in the Earth character mirror. After calming down again, he hailed a car to Su Hang. This time, let's first wash away the blood on the drum and dance sword, especially the literati standing on the side of the Tang family. The other side, today's Jiuquan Mountain, a major event has occurred. Elder Kai Taking was expelled from the mountain by the mountain master Nan Huiyan, and break the hands and feet, rendering the entire body's meridians useless. After learning about the difficulties faced by the literary family last time, this time helping an outsider is acceptable. But this time, they actually attempted to poison all the high-ranking officials of Jiuxinshan. I want to control the entire Jiuquan Mountain. If it weren't for his friend, a skilled doctor, visiting Jiuxinshan and accidentally discovering this matter, maybe Kai Taking will really get it done. Kai Taking, after undergoing a series of severe interrogations, it also revealed the mastermind behind the scenes. It was Lin Fan and the Dragon Soul organization behind him, and the next plan is actually to take over the entire Seoju and Hangzhou. The scholar's family is one of their targets. Upon learning that the Dragon Soul organization has sent a large number of skilled fighters to Seoju and Hangzhou, Nan Huiyan first contacted his disciple, Master Qin. Make sure he stays safe. Then 5 elite experts from the Imperial Zijing set out directly to Suheng to rescue the literati. What's going on today? The organization called Longhun sent a few skilled experts over. Master of the Mountain, you also know about the Dragon Soul organization. The Scholar's Pavilion was somewhat surprised. He only found out today, whether it's Lu Junjuo or Lin Fan. The organization behind these people is called the Longhun Organization. Nan Huiyan also talked about the situation at Jiuquan Mountain today. After he finished speaking, Wenrain Yuanshan's expression darkened. Unexpectedly facing this disaster, Nan Huiyan was also filled with anger. He asked, "Today I brought several elders with me. I heard they sent many experts over this time. Today, Two masters of the imperial skill pinnacle have come to our home. Based on the information received, they have also sent experts to other families and sects. They are all from the middle period of the emperor's resources. The total number of people is at least 10. The scholars Cavilian recounted the intelligence they had just received. These sects encountered the same fate as the literati families. After the Long-An organization arrived, they immediately began a massacre. First, let's take out a few to establish our authority before giving them the final ultimatum. Make a decision within 12 hours. Being a dog for the Dragon Soul organization. Or wait to die. After encountering this incident, they first contacted the Tang family. I want to find Tang Xiao to see if there's a way. After connecting with the past, just learned that Tang Xiao is not in Suzhou or Hangzhou at all. Out of desperation, they had no choice but to seek help from the scholar's family. Even a man wouldn't expect so many top experts to show up. This filled him with instant dread towards the Dragon Soul organization. The man dressed as the villain from the novel. Because I keep changing the plot. Let the ultimate boss reach his breaking point. A large number of assassins were dispatched to attack Su Hang's Guwu sword. Even the scholars' families suffered heavy casualties. At this time, a group of motivators has already been cultivated at the river border in Africa. After receiving the summons from Old Master Tang, he selected 24 elite personnel to return to Suzhou and Hangzhou. A group of people was returning to the Tang family by helicopter. Tang Yu had just returned from Mingzhou. He has received quite a bit of news along the way. I never expected to go to Mingzhou this time. This group of people actually went insane and came to rob the house. Without the suppression of divine techniques. This cursed dog system. Just ignore his response. If it weren't for the reminder from the divine technique, by the time Tang Yu returns to Su Hang, everything may have changed. Hurrying back home, seeing everything at home safe and sound, Tang Yu let out a temporary sigh of relief. When he arrived at his grandfather's small courtyard, He Jing and his team arrived just in time. After exchanging a few pleasantries, we went in to see Old Master Tang. Old Tang looked at Tang Yu and said, "You already know everything." Tang Yu let out a bitter laugh. "I am truly impressed by Grandpa's calmness in the face of danger. Wu Yu is not trustworthy and is eating from both sides. I have already asked you to be dealt with according to family law. I'll keep an eye on things at home for you. You handle the matters outside on your own." Tang Yu smiled bitterly and nodded. The two greeted the old man and walked out of the small courtyard. Looking at the 24 elite members brought back by He Jing, Tang Yu asked, "How loyal are these 24 people?" "They are the most loyal followers of the Tang family." He Jing patted his chest and assured, "These are the people he personally brought out. Every member of the Kunlun squad is incredibly loyal." "All right, then I'll make them all commit suicide. If not report the troops at this moment, then when?" Tang Yu gave each of them 2 Xuanqi fruits. This is enough for them to break through to the early stage of the Emperor's self-destruction. In conjunction with the dragon elephant bow they practiced. Only 2 people need to join forces to perform a combined attack technique, not to mention defeating an emperor, even self-destruction in the middle stage. It's not hard to hold on. If the 4 join forces, killing the emperor and committing suicide in the middle of the process is as easy as pie. Then Tang Yu sent He Jing 3 more. He is now at the mid-stage of the Xuan Zijiang level. 3 pieces of Xuanqi fruit are enough to elevate him to the mid-stage of the emperor's self-destruction. After Tang Yu finished arranging He Jing and the others, Lin Han will report. Tang Xiao has already followed your instructions. Let them arrange the black and white twins to that so-called Mayo house you mentioned. It's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse." Tang Yu chuckled. This time he returned from Mingju with Bai Sha. The three quickly arrived at the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse that Tang Yu had specially remodeled. The only sound in the room was the deafening music. There is also a scene of a man biting his lip and posing in the bathtub. Pei Bai Shuengsha is locked in a cage. Their face looks like it's about to break down. I saw Tang Yu walk in. Pei Sha cursed loudly. Bai Sha also started cursing loudly. Tang Yu chuckled softly. He opened the cell door and walked in. He took out a glass bottle filled with a transparent liquid from his pocket. Bai Sha swallowed, and a few seconds later, "It feels like my body is on fire." Tang Yu looked at He Sha and asked, "Have you heard a saying? He has multiple fractures throughout his body. I want to struggle but cannot move." Tang Sha begged you. "Everything can be discussed." I said, "Where is Lu Junjuo? Is that not enough?" After locating Lu Junjuo's whereabouts, Tang Yu led Lin Han and the two women towards his hiding place. At this time, there are 6 hours left until the Dragon Soul Organization issues their final ultimatum. Before time runs out, Tang Yu needed to resolve Lu Junjuo's matters quickly. At a pig farm in Seju or Hangzhou, Lu Junjuo's meridians were completely severed by Lin Fan, tied up and thrown into the pig bin. Every day is just living with these pigs. Just as he was dozing off next to a few pigs, a sudden scream came from outside. Lu Junjuo's eyes widened instantly, becoming more alert. Could it be that someone has come to save me? Then he saw Tang Yu walk in with Lin, Hanky, and Ying, the man dressed like the villain from the novel, only to find that the protagonist had become roommates with over 20 pigs. Tang Yu was utterly shocked by Lu Juozhen's appearance. "Tian Le Lu, my friend, this is how your organization treats a meritorious person like you. Living here isn't easy, is it?" Lin Han is indeed quite vicious. Hearing the name Lin Han, Lu Junjuo's face twisted in agony, constantly cursing and swearing. Seeing Lu Junjuo with this level of awareness, Tang Yu was still very happy. He said with a smile, "They say that you don't truly get to know someone until you've fought with them. After fighting together for so long, we can be considered half friends now. I'll give you two choices." Tang Yu hadn't finished speaking. Lu Junjuo has already guessed what Tang Yu is about to say. Tears streamed down his face. Kneeling on the ground, he banged his head vigorously and shouted, "Tang Xiao, I am willing to be your dog, as long as you give me a chance for revenge. I can do anything." Lu Junjuo is too compliant. Instead, it surprised Tang Yu a bit. "Choi, but how can I ensure your loyalty? Tang Xiao can control me with poison or anything like that. And I will do it for Tang Xiao. Kill the scum of the Dragon Soul Organization to show loyalty." Lu Junjuo finished speaking and began to twist his body. "Remove the dragon pattern jade from around my neck. This is his most important possession. All his knowledge and skills were inherited from the dragon pattern jade." Tang Yu quickly pinched the dragon pattern jade with 2 fingers. Then they discovered that the dragon pattern jade transformed into a beam of light, disappeared after entering their own body. Tang Yu didn't understand what was going on, but right now the priority is to deal with Lu Junjuo's situation. He flicked 2 small blades between his fingers. The blade flew away, cut all the ropes off Lu Junjuo's hands and feet. After regaining freedom of movement, Lu Junjuo cried like a child weighing over 100 pounds. "Tang Xiao, from today on I am your dog. I know I still can't earn Tang Xiao's trust. So please, Master Tang, grant me poison." Tang Yu nodded. "After taking out a bottle containing poison, I threw it to him. He was taken back to the Tang family in the car. On the way back, Lu Junjuo provided all the information he knew to Tang Yu. In the Suzhou and Hangzhou area, the Dragon Soul organization actually dispatched two forces. Yi Chen and he, along with Lin Fan, can only be considered the surface strength. The Dragon Soul organization has never stopped its strategic moves behind the scenes. They had long established a web of traps to bring all of Suzhou and Hangzhou under control. After returning to the Tang family, Tang Yu immediately had someone prepare a large barrel of hot water. The barrel contains various precious medicines. He let Lu Junjuo go in and soak. 3 hours later, Lu Junjuo slowly opened his eyes. It seemed as if golden light was shooting out from their eyes. All the meridians in his body that were destroyed by Lin Fan have fully recovered. The power has returned to Xuan Zijin's peak. Tang Yu took out 3 chuanqi fruits and tossed them to Lu Junjuo. Lu Junjuo almost shouted out upon recognizing this object. Tears streamed down both eyes. He then sat cross-legged on the ground and began consuming the xuanqi fruit to enhance his cultivation level. And together with the 24 members of the Kunlun team here, they have finished digesting the xuanqi fruit that Tang Yu told them about. Hijin's strength increased from the mid-stage of the profound self-destruction to the mid-stage of the emperor's self-destruction. The 24 subordinates under him all ascended from the early stage of Xuan's self-destruction to the early stage of the emperor's self-destruction. Adding to that, Lin Hanchai's 2 daughters reached the peak of their cultivation before their deaths. Tang Yu doesn't need to remember anything at all now, but the 12 emperors sent by the Dragon Soul organization, after Lu Junjuo finished digesting the 3 chuanqi fruits, his strength has actually reached the peak of emperor self-destruction. Lu Junjuo's mood grew increasingly excited. I am increasingly grateful to Tang Yu. He approached Tang Yu and spoke respectfully. Tang Xiao, I have completed the breakthrough. Now we will start taking revenge on the Longhan organization. All right, then you can take care of killing Lin Fan. Lu Junjuo felt so comfortable upon hearing this that every pore in his body opened up. Tang Yu made arrangements. He took a group of elite warriors and drove towards Wen's home. At the same time, the business world of Suzhou and Hangzhou has already begun a major upheaval. The Tang family and several major families joined forces to exert pressure on Longfen Group. Mingzhu Yang's family also began to exert their strength, deploy hundreds of billions in capital to suppress the stock prices of Longfen Group and its subsidiaries. Just when everyone thought Longfen Group was going to face a major crisis, a massive amount of funds totaling hundreds of billions suddenly appeared, supported the stock price of Longfen Group, and forcibly raised the stock price that had already been driven down. At the same time, the Tang Group was targeted in the stock market. Together participated in suppressing the stock price this time. There are still 13 prominent families from Suzhou and Hangzhou. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. A team of elite self-destructing experts has just gathered to target the Longhan organization. However, it was learned that the Tang Group was targeted in the stock market. In the face of such a crisis, the executives of the Tang Group immediately contacted Tang Yu. After learning that the company's funding gap is at least over 100 billion, now the company is facing this problem. He can only find a way to recover some funds to defend himself. After this call was made, but it prompts that the phone is turned off. This shutdown made Tang Yu frown. His phone never turns off. Lu Junjuo, sitting in the back seat of the car, couldn't help but change his expression slightly upon hearing the notification on the phone. He suddenly remembered something. Tang Xiao, The Dragon Soul organization has placed a high-ranking pawn within each of the four major families. That can't be. I believe him. Tang Yu shook her head and smiled. He turned his head to look at He Jing. Lao He, please take someone to Tengwing Group to ensure the safety of the medical supplies. He Jing immediately took the order. After instructing the driver to stop, he headed straight to the Tengwing Group with two subordinates. After He Jing left, Tang Yu dialed Yang Jilan's number again. I explained the situation to him. I want to ask the wealthy Yang family for help. But Yang Dilan's response was that it would take some time, because the Yang family was also targeted in the stock market. At that moment, his phone received a message alert. He opened it to take a look. It's a message from Sumu Yu. I have already earned 47 billion for your company account. No more can be taken out. Soon after, Kin Kexin sent a message as well. The Longfen Group is a tough nut to crack for now. The recovered 80 billion funds have been transferred to your company's account. Tang Yu smiled slightly before taking a break with them one by one. With the injection of their funds, Tang Group can finally catch a breath for a while. Inside the Tengwang Group, Wang Yixu was sitting in front of the computer, constantly typing on the keyboard, issuing command after command. At this moment, he is manipulating nearly 1 trillion of vast funds, leading this stock market war. There was also a man standing next to him. He is one of the 12 emperors. This time I was filmed to protect Wang Yixu, also watching his layout in Suju and Hangzhou this time. He is one of the most important pieces. Even the organization handed over a massive amount of funds to him. Let him take charge of this stock market war. At that moment, the office door was suddenly pushed open from the outside. He Jing entered with two subordinates. I saw someone forcefully break in. The man's expression darkened. Without saying a word, he rushed forward and threw a punch at He Jing. He Jing, with a blank expression, threw a punch in response. The man was actually pushed back 2 steps. Before he could be shocked, Wang Yixu suddenly had a small, silver handgun in her hand. 6 bullets flew straight toward the man's back. This sudden stabbing caught the man off guard. After realizing Wang Yixu's betrayal, the man roared in anger. "You dare betray the organization? You scoundrel!" He Jing was momentarily filled with rage, charging in with 2 subordinates to beat down the fallen dog. In just a few minutes, the entire office is in disarray. Wang Yixu gave a cold smile, sitting in front of the computer, continuing to issue commands. He wants to control all the available funds at hand, used to suppress those families that dare to challenge the Tang family. But relying solely on the hundreds of billions in funds at hand, it's still far from enough to take them all out at once. At that moment, the phone next to him rang. He picked up the phone and connected the call. A cold voice came from the other end of the phone. I heard it was Yang Jilan calling. Wang Yixu was somewhat taken aback. The Longhan organization had already anticipated that the Yang family would intervene to help, so activate the overseas network. Let several major companies challenge Yang's family. Hold back the Yang family's funds to prevent them from helping. If you had called me half an hour ago for help borrowing money, I couldn't come up with that much at the time. It has already been turned over. A total of 200 billion funds will be transferred to you. Yang Jilan said on the other end of the phone. Wang Yixu's expression was complicated. She is in a hurry for money now. But she also understood the Yang family's situation. The Yang family, known as the richest in Mingzhu, usually lives in luxury. Holding your nose, you can take out 300 billion in liquid funds. But now is a special time. They haven't escaped their predicament yet. It's very risky to pull out so much money. Wang Yixu let out a long sigh. Continue to invest the newly received funds into the battlefield to eliminate the 13 families completely. The man dressed up as the ultimate villain from the novel. Gather the experts to prepare for the European Dragon Soul organization. Just because it was 12 hours ago, the Long-On organization sent people to launch a massacre against the Suheng drum power and let them choose their teams. It's time now. The influence of Suju and Hangju gathers at the homes of scholars. Even the master of Lianji Yukun Mountain rushed over to lend support. The members of the Long-Han organization have arrived as scheduled. This time, they came with exactly 12 people. Leading the way is Lin Fan. After a period of rest and treatment, his injuries have improved somewhat. Once again, he displayed the unique domineering aura of the Beijing war god. Today includes him. The Light Emperor took his own life, and there were 3 peak powerhouses. The remaining 9 people. They all died by suicide during the midterm. With this fighting spirit, sweeping through the entire Suju and Hangju is simply effortless. After the gaze swept over everyone in the Suju and Hangju drum performance, Lin Fan sneered. "Where is the kid with the surname Tang? Today you are all here. Is this useless person hiding away?" Everyone fell silent. They have all confirmed with the Wenren Yage. The answer received was that Tang Xiao said he would come over, so they waited until the last moment. Still haven't seen Tang Xiao's trace. Since the kid with the surname Tang is not here, then I'll find him to settle the score later. You can choose for yourselves. Is it submission or death? I give you 3 seconds. Lin Fan's threatening words were not finished yet. The literati's elegant pavilion has stepped forward with a cold laugh. Last time, the scholar's family disagreed. This time, the scholars still won't agree. Jiyuquan Mountain also disagrees. Don't let your organization become too lawless. Nan Huiyan spoke with suppressed anger. What's there to show off about someone who pulls down their pants? Ning Shikin stepped forward with a blank expression and delivered a final blow. Lin Fan's eyes blazed with fury. Clenching his fists, he was ready to lead everyone into action. After being cut off by Tang Yu, he has lost interest in women. Now he only wants to complete the task of the old Dragon King. Revenge on Tang Yu. He rushed towards Ning Shikin, ready to strike first. Nan Huiyan's face turned ashen. I stepped forward to catch Lin Fan's punch. Stepping back, his face turned pale. After a punch repelled Nan Huiyan, Lin Fan's eyes flashed with disdain. The faces of everyone in the ancient martial arts world of Su and Hang turned pale. Even the master of Lianji Yukun Mountain is not a match for a river. Who can they rely on today? Just as the 12 earthly branches were about to take action together, the sound of helicopters can be heard in the distance. 12 planes flew in formation from the distance. It looks spectacular. One of them recognized it at first glance and said, "This is the Tang family's plane." Lin Fan's expression darkened. He turned his head to take a look. Indeed, I saw Tang Yu leaning halfway out of the helicopter. He commanded the 12 earthly branches without hesitation. "First, kill this person." The 12 earthly branches were all ready for battle. He walked actively towards the helicopter, but the 12 helicopters did not land on the ground, but stopped at a height of about 5 meters. After waiting in the air, it stopped. The crowd on the helicopter jumped down. Everyone in the ancient martial arts world of Suju and Hangju widened their eyes. Tang Xiao has finally arrived, but the group of dark and shady guys behind him, something doesn't seem quite right. I felt the oppressive force radiating from these people. The people of the ancient martial arts world in Suhang were overjoyed. These are all experts in the die character mirror technique. Lin Fan saw these people. The excitement of impending revenge turned into a look of confusion. He was almost reluctant to believe his own eyes. Seeing Lin Fan's face turn pale, Tang Yu shouted loudly, "Lin Fan, I fed your stuff to the dogs today." Lin Fan was instantly overwhelmed by anger. He roared and strode towards Tang Yu. "I can't care about so much anymore." Seeing Lin Fan daring to attack young Master Tang, Lu Junjuo shouted loudly, rushed forward and began to fight fiercely with Lin Fan. The two are now evenly matched in strength. But I've lost Lin Fan today. There have been some issues with balance. Battle of Masters. A tiny gap can be infinitely magnified. Lu Junjuo was clever to seize Lin Fan's weakness. Relying on speed for a frenzied offensive, while they were fighting, the people of the 12 earthly branches began to fight with Tang Yu's people, two top masters of self-destruction. After a brief exchange, the two women pinned her down and started hitting. The remaining 9 mid-level masters of the earth took their own lives. The situation isn't much better. The Kunlun team, except for 2 members, went in to find Wang Yixu. There are still a full 22 people here. Moreover, there are several masters from Jiuquan Mountain nearby, slightly shaken. A man full of anger is pregnant. Rushing in, he actively took on the burden of a midterm suicide. In this way, the remaining 8 will face even greater pressure. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. The Kunlun team makes a grand entrance at the Wenren family home. In an instant, the old Dragon King's 12 earthly branches were suppressed and struck down. At that moment, Tang Yu pulled out a large pair of scissors from somewhere. The figure glided through the battlefield like a ghostly spectre. As long as the right opportunity for attack is found, he would shout, "I'll give you a long frame." Several times the hand raised the knife. 2 people have already fallen victim to his deadly hands. The 2 people silenced by Tang Yu, soon beaten to death by the group. In less than 10 minutes, 4 bloody birds appeared on the ground again. The mindset of the entire 12 earthly branches has already been completely shattered by Tang Yu. As the battle became increasingly one-sided, Tang Yu also felt that bullying like this was somewhat dull. So I prepared to go after those 2 who had reached the peak of despair. These 2 were already being overwhelmed by Lin Han's 2 daughters. Tang Yu joined the battlefield. Their attention was focused on his blood-stained scissors. But the more distracted I become, they became less of a match for Lin Han and Chai Ying. Lin Fan and Lu Junjuo's battle has reached a fever pitch. After gaining an advantage in the battle, Lu Junjuo continuously rolls the snowball and takes the initiative to attack. Lin Fan easily destroyed all his meridians back then, beaten by him until covered in blood. "You're crazy. Dare to betray the organization. Aren't you afraid that the old Dragon King will find out?" Originally spirited Lin Fan. At this moment, I'm starting to panic uncontrollably. Even summoned the old Dragon King. That old dog. If I have enough strength, I will definitely take care of him for Tang Xiao, Lu Junjuo said resentfully. Hearing Lu Junjuo call out Tang Xiao repeatedly, Lin Fan couldn't help but let out a sneer. Then he felt a sharp pain in his chrysanthemum, a shiny pair of scissors, already fused with his butt, hidden behind a blade. After laughing a few times, she let go of the scissors and slipped away. This indescribable pain, it made his body stiffen instantly, and he screamed. Lu Junjuo seized the opportunity and landed a punch on Lin Fan's chest. After sending him flying, he continued to rush forward, throwing punches. Every time he is about to land, Lu Junjuo's fist struck like a shadow, sending him flying once again. Lin Fan fell to the ground after flying in the air for a full 3 minutes. The whole person felt like a puddle of mud, unable to get up. At this moment, his entire body was paralyzed. Not even a complete bone could be found. The battles of others have also come to an end at this moment. Lin Han's two daughters swiftly dealt with their opponents. The others of the 12 earthly branches were beaten to death. Finally, this battle has come to an end. Teng Yu also let out a sigh of relief in his heart. He remembered the hint that the divine technique had given him. Hastily, he walked quickly towards the still living Lin Fan. Lin Fan had already half his body in the gates of the underworld. Teng Yu's gaze was fixed on Lin Fan's heart. The gaze penetrated through Lin Fan's body. Indeed, I saw a golden Tao Yuan seed. Then he took out a small knife, decisively stabbed into Lin Fan's heart. I want to use my fingers to dig this out. His finger just touched the Tao Yuan seed of this miniature board. This thing transformed into a golden light and entered Teng Yu's body. After the battle here was declared over, the battle in the business world of Suju and Hangzhou has just reached a fever pitch. The large amount of capital originally aimed at attacking the Tang Group stock suddenly gave up the attack, saved the Tang Group from immediate danger, easily pulled the stock price back up, directly surged to the price limit. Instead, it was the 13 families that joined forces to stab the Tang Group. Their family business came under fierce attack. Naturally, the one leading all of this is Wang Yixu. This time, he intends to help Teng Yu consume all 13 families in one go. As for the tough nut that is the Longfin Group, he also doesn't plan to let it go. After secretly gathering the blackmail material, it was quickly released. He used his family's influence again, let the relevant departments quickly initiate an investigation, and release the news of the investigation. After forcibly suppressing the stock price of the Longfin Group in this manner, a new round of war has begun. Tang Yu extracted what he desired from Lin Fan's heart. Before long, I was pulled back into the divine art space. After returning to the divine technique space this time, the jade pendant obtained from Lu Junzhuo and the seeds in Lin Fan's heart were floating in the air. These two items emit a white energy, constantly absorbed by divine techniques. Tang Yu could clearly feel the power of the system's suppression magic has weakened significantly. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. Not only did he take the male lead as his underling, even dug out seeds from the heart of Fan Yi for their own divine arts. This revived the once almost crying divine skill. Soon, Lu Junzhuo's dragon-patterned jade has returned to Tang Yu's hand. Tang Yu looked for a moment, then bit his index finger, letting the drop of fresh blood fall. He is too familiar with this routine from reading often. After the blood dripped down, it's been 2 minutes and there's still no response. Just as Tang Yu was puzzled, the system's voice finally sounded. The host successfully survived the storyline, rewarding the yin-yang wuji gongwang method, achieved perfection and cultivation. To compensate for the delay in reward distribution, the system will activate the dragon pattern jade for the host. Teng Yu was a bit surprised. Since this dog-like creature suppressed the divine power, Teng Yu called him, and there was no response. Regarding his identity and background, Tang Yu also guessed some things. This thing is considered part of the way of heaven. Surviving the plot from the hands of the child of Kaiyan will yield rewards. But ultimately, he still wants to die at the hands of the Master of Aura. If it weren't for the suppression of the divine arts, I've already been screwed over by this bastard. Very quickly, Teng Yu's dragon-patterned jade quickly began to hurt in his hand. Immediately, a surge of inherited memories flooded my mind. Teng Yu immediately perked up. The core of the ancient martial inheritance of dragon pattern jade lies in fusion. After merging different techniques together, can greatly enhance its combat power. The premise is that this cultivation technique must be perfected before it can be integrated. Tang Yu unleashed the 8th level collapse punch. Mei Huasan Dai. After the fusion of the Yin Yang Wuji bow and the immovable underworld king bow along with 4 other ancient martial arts techniques, just gained a new skill. First, use the immovable underworld bow to absorb damage. Use the Yin Yang Wujigong for relay counterattacks. Combine the 8th level collapse punch and the plum blossom threefold. In this way, after countering with a punch, can deal 16 times the damage to the opponent. At the same time, it can strike the enemy from within with the dark mirror, inflicting serious injuries. After merging this skill, Tang Yu named it Intentional Bomb Fist. Feeling refreshed after receiving the new reward, Tang Yu thought of another thing. He asked himself, Dog system, what about the rewards from the last Yang family storyline? The resend has been completed. Tang Yu was confused. Damn, how did I get the reward? But thinking back, there was a time like this before. The reward was given to He Jing. Tang Yu did not ask any further questions. He plans to call Wang Defan and Zhao Gaoshan later to ask. Check if it has been sent over to them. At this moment, the divine technique had successfully absorbed all the energy from Lin Fan's seed. His breath grew stronger. The system's breath was tightly suppressed. Tang Yu was just about to say something. Suddenly, I was forcefully expelled from the divine space. At this moment, the bodies of the members of the Dragon Soul organization on the ground have been cleared away, although they killed Lin Fan and his group among the 12 emperors. The Qilonghan organization still has many pawns scattered throughout Su and Hang. This time, we must catch this group of people all at once. Lu Junjue looked at Tang Yu. Tang Shan, I'll take the brothers to catch and deal with those hidden mice first. Okay. Thank you for your hard work. Tang Yu patted Lu Junjuo's shoulder. Driven by hatred, he is full of energy now. At that moment, Nan Huayan stepped forward and looked at Tang Yu with gratitude. Tan Shang, I am Nan Huayan, the master of Jiuquan Mountain. Today's kindness will be remembered at Jiayuan Mountain. Sister Nan Huai is being too modest. Tang Yu laughed heartily and reached out his hand to shake hands with Nan Huayan. Nan Huayan, Nan Huayan. Why does this name sound strange? I remember he seems to be around 40 years old. Why do you look like you're just in your 30s? But Sheifu is great, Sheifu is wonderful. The young gentleman is charming and romantic. Suddenly hearing Tang Yu's voice, Nan Huayan's smile instantly froze on his face. Wang Defan has been assigned to Siberia since then, became the head of the Tang family's gas company in Siberia. Today, he suddenly received something sent by Tang Yu. It is the ownership of a farm and some other things. Wang Defan began to examine it closely. I just found out that Tang Xiao bought a large farm and registered it under his name. As for the things he sent over, is a large batch of seeds. Wang Defan's major in college was botany, even has a doctoral degree. He carefully examined these seeds. Only then did I realize they were some quite precious medicinal herb seeds. Some have even disappeared for many years. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. Yingu has completed a challenging storyline, received a super gift package from the system, not only successfully unlocked a new skill, and also acquired a large farm and precious medicinal herb seeds. Wang Defan, far away in Siberia, instantly understood after receiving the package. It must be that Tang Xiao knows his expertise. He deliberately invested a large sum of money to help him establish the herb garden. Once these seeds are planted successfully, that is a large batch of precious medicinal herbs. When he arrived at the farm, Wang Defe just realized how vast this farm is. Over 100 hectares. And there are all kinds of equipment available. Almost fully automated high-tech farm. More importantly, the land of this farm is incredibly fertile and dark. As he squatted down to take a look, a bag of seeds in my hand accidentally fell down. After 2 seeds fell out, he simply buried it in the ground. Just as he was about to stand up, the seeds that were just planted surprisingly sprouted green shoots at a visible speed. After seeing this, Wang Defa almost popped his eyes out in shock. Such speed! Will these herbs still grow if planted? There is such a farm. What does a century of life mean? It's not something that can be grown casually. He felt a deeper admiration for Tang Xiao in his heart. He hurriedly asked his secretary to recruit workers for the farm, then go back to prepare the work plan to send to Tang Xiao. After receiving the message from Wang Defa, Tang Yu also smiled. Now he can refine elixirs. We are just short on materials. With such a hanging pen farm, genius treasures are simply no big deal. With the end of the chaotic battle in Suju and Hangzhou, that night, the Tang family held a banquet at one of their hotels. This banquet, Tang Leiezi is one of the prominent families in Suju and Hangzhou. Everyone has been invited over. Only the 13 families involved in the assassination of the Tang family, not receiving an invitation. Calling everyone over was just a clear statement. After dealing with these 13 families, the power dynamics in Suju and Hangzhou will be redefined. How to eat the newly empty cake? It's up to everyone to decide what to do. The Tang family has already become the uncrowned king of Su and Hang. There is no dispute in either the business world or the ancient martial arts world. In this commercial war, Wang Sukin and the 3 great families, and received rich rewards. But at this moment, many guests in the audience, curious gazes turned towards Tang. It's not that they think Tang Xiao did anything earth-shattering. What they are curious about is, why are there only beautiful women at that table? Su Mu Yu from the Su family, Qin Kexin from the Qin family, and the eldest daughter of the Wang family, Wang Yixu. Just the sight of these 3 sitting together, it's enough to catch everyone's attention. The eldest son of the Qin family, Qin Ming, was also sitting at the table, but it doesn't have much presence. After finishing dinner, let's go for a walk. It's been a long time since we gathered together. Tang Yu hadn't spoken yet. Qin Kexin has already made her decisive move. I talked to him about the acquisition deal. I'll be back soon. Why are you all so excited? Wang Yixu curled her lips, gave Tang a look. I'll be back soon. You all chat first. Tang Yu greeted everyone, then walked out of the banquet with Wang Yixu. After leaving the hotel, Wang Yixu headed straight to the parking lot with Tang Yuzhai. The 2 of them arrived at the lakeside near the Peninsula Hotel. At this moment, in a distant black car, a woman is sitting in the driver's seat, glaring coldly at the car carrying Tang Yu and the other person. This woman is the assassin queen who failed in her last attempt to kill Tang Yu. She surveyed the surroundings, confirmed that no one else is watching. She finally got out of the car. Slowly approaching that Maybach, he threw a small stone at the car window. After a sound came from the car window, Tang Yu furrowed her brow, tightly embracing the warm, soft jade. Just got out of the car. The assassin queen hiding under the car suddenly lunged out with a knife, stabbing Tang Yu's calf. This knife's angle is incredibly sharp and clever. At this moment, Tang Yu had already reached the strength of the mid-imperial phase. As strength increased, the defense interests of her immovable Vajra palace have greatly improved. At that moment the knife was just a pinprick away from her skin, blocked by an invisible force. Let the blade's edge be hard to advance. Feeling the attack beneath my feet, Tang Yu let out a grunt and stepped forward, but didn't step on that hand. Saw a strike miss its target. The bewildered queen skillfully crawled out from under the carriage, dash into the nearby woods like a fleeting shadow. The man dressed like the villain from the novel finally managed to get through a part of the story, but found that someone was relentlessly trying to assassinate him. Fortunately, there is the protection of the Feudo-Mayu Palace. This prevented the queen's sneak attack from succeeding. Tang Yu discovers that she is the empress. With a furrowed brow, she gritted her teeth and chased after him. But this woman is a master of speed. This speed is simply outrageous. Fortunately, she was well prepared. While chasing wildly, he pulled a whip out of his pocket. "You really love to play, don't you? Wait until I catch you. I have a big move waiting for you." "There's still a big move waiting for me." Thinking about these, she got distracted and didn't pay attention. Unexpectedly, with a slip of its feet, Chong Chong fell out. Tang Yu Chong rushed up. She got up and wanted to keep running, but was kicked in the butt by Tang Yu. She fell hard again. Tang Yu took a rope out of his pocket. The queen was tightly tied up and hung from a tree, then took out a marker from his pocket. She started to draw on her face. 2 minutes later, she just walked out of the small woods and rushed towards the car, and the queen was still hanging in the tree. This was the first time she encountered such a situation. How could they humiliate her, the Grand Queen, like this? At that moment, the queen unexpectedly had a butterfly knife in her hand. A flash of the blade. The ropes on her body snapped completely. Angrily returned to her car, she suddenly realized that the bottleneck that had trapped her at the peak of her cultivation was loosening. There are actually signs of a breakthrough. This excited her again. It must be because of this guy. Her humiliation and provocation led to a breakthrough for herself. It seems I need to keep giving her trouble. After returning to the Tang family, Tang Yu discovered that there were quite a few bodyguards along the way. After He Jin brought this group of people back, the Tang family now has a whole bunch of self-destructing bodyguards. Lu Junjuo did not sleep either, patrolling the Tang family estate at night with 2 bodyguards. Why not take a break? It's enough to have these people watching at night. Seeing Lu Junjuo so dedicated and earnest, Tang Yu asked with a smile. Lu Junjuo felt a warmth in his heart. "It is only right to do my best for Tang Xiao. Today I have eliminated all the remaining rats from the Dragon Soul organization. Now Suju and Hangzhou are absolutely safe. So I want to apply to go to Yanjing with Tang Xiao." Tang Yu thought for a moment and understood Lu Junjuo's meaning. Suju and Hangzhou are significant for the Dragon Soul organization. Just one of the goals. Now the chess pieces in Suju and Hangzhou are gone. They still have plenty of backup plans in Yanjing. That is also their ultimate goal. Lu Junjuo's hatred for the Dragon Soul organization. How could he give up without confronting the killer? Go if you need to go. Here is a month's worth of antidote. Someone will come to deliver it when you're almost done eating. Tang Yu tossed a bottle to Lu Junjuo and laughed. Lu Junjuo quickly caught the bottle and thanked Tang Yu. Rather than carrying a hint of excitement, killing Lin Fan is not enough. He wants to remove the Dragon Soul organization's roots one by one in Yanjing. Let's go take another look at the black and white twins. In this moment, we are snuggled together. I saw Tang Yu coming. The 2 brothers, immersed in sweetness, greet each other with smiles. At this moment they smiled peacefully, and there was no more hatred in their eyes. Love has touched everything. Can Tang Xiao help cure my brother? We brothers are willing to work for Tang Xiao. Bai Sha actively proposed to exchange terms. Seeing that they have this awareness of thought, Tang Xiao is very happy. So it was entrusted to Lu Junjuo. Let him go to Yanjing to assist. Before leaving, the three of them compiled the internal information they knew and submitted it to Tang Yu. Because the Dragon Soul organization is hidden too deeply, the information they know is all different. For example, the information known by the Black and White duo is about the Dragon Soul organization's operations in Africa. This information is quite important. Tang planned to throw it to He Jin, who was heading back to Africa soon. When his subordinates are trained up, drive the Dragon Soul organization out of Africa. Internal materials provided by Lu Junjuo. It's about how they hide personal information and other data. This was significant for Tang Yu. It is indeed a very useful piece of information. After receiving this information, Tang Yu suddenly received a system plot preview. The next scene reveals that the Longhun organization learns of the complete destruction of the Suheng forces. Once again, a team of experts is dispatched to Seju and Hangzhou. After this preview, Tang Yu was not worried at all. I just received the information from Lu Junjuo. Do you know how to uncover these people's identities? In this way, it would be easy to finish off these people. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel, after recruiting the three assassins under the protagonist as his subordinates. I obtained internal information about the Longhun organization. This way, the odds of winning have increased significantly. At this moment, in an abandoned church in the Middle East, an bold old man is sitting on a bench, flipping through a book. More than 30 antiquarians stood straight in the church, watching the old man. Once everyone had arrived, the elder, respectfully called Old Dragon King, slowly stood up and looked at everyone. When I roamed across Huaxia back then, fortuitously, a reckless group of dozens of imperial suiciders conquered the entirety of Su and Han. Great victory. I don't understand. Why did our people suffer such a devastating defeat in Seju and Hangzhou this time? But no matter what, this time you all came out in full force. Over 30 emperors committed suicide during the mid-period. The peak expert battles a group of emperors at the beginning of their self-destruction. The advantage is mine. The old Dragon King spoke from a place of transformation. The elite members of the Longhun organization applauded vigorously after listening. This operation is led by the Chrysanthemum sisters. The gaze of the old Dragon King fell upon the three women. These three women all possess the cultivation level of the Emperor's self-destruction pinnacle. Their names are Chuju, Light Chrysanthemum and Dark Chrysanthemum. The three of them are all at least 1.8 meters tall. Moreover, the three sisters are best at martial arts. Belongs to the type that can be defeated by 3 punches from Lu Tixia. Upon hearing the command of the old Dragon King, the three girls excitedly accepted the order. The Dragon Soul organization has always valued strength above all, but the Dragon King's position has never been occupied by a woman. The current Dragon King, Yi Chen, this useless one, has reportedly been killed in Huaxia. This is significant for them. Isn't this a great opportunity to rise to power? After the Dragon King explained the plan in detail again, this group of people headed to the airport to prepare for their charter flight. In the west substation of Seju and Hangzhou City, Bai Wani, who once served as the captain of the criminal police team, recently promoted to deputy director. Tang Yu opened the office door and entered uninvited. Looking at Bai Wani, he chuckled darkly. Do you remember the mercenaries you captured before? They are sending someone to create trouble in Suzhou and Hangzhou. As a responsible citizen of Sanhao City, I believe I have the obligation to report to you. I heard it's those mercenaries." Bai Wanyi frowned. She has always had no fondness for these illegal professions. So she opened the document on her computer and said, "What clues do you have to share with me?" Tang Yu quickly described the information he obtained from the system's spoilers. After speaking, he shared the information he received from Lu Junjuo with Bai Wanyi. After obtaining this important information, Bai Wanyi immediately ordered an investigation into the flight arriving from the Middle East. After obtaining the information about these people on the flight, she took a glance. Indeed, all the information is clear and transparent. The forgery is quite perfect. Then she continued to investigate deeply as Tang Yu had taught her. Finally, we successfully uncovered the true identities of these people. Thank you for providing this information. I will have someone handle it immediately." After the investigation was completed, Bai Wanyi thanked Tang Yu very formally. Tang Yu quickly waved his hand. "This person is just too warm-hearted. I wasn't going for the system rewards at all. So when do you guys start?" "Their flight will arrive in a few hours. Missed this opportunity, and it will be a year before the next one. It's rare to find an opportunity like this. Gathering this group of people can capture them all at once. I'm heading to the meeting now to handle it urgently. Then I'll wait for you. I will act with you all. By the way, protect your safety. These people are very insane." Bai Wanyi thought for a moment and felt it was okay. This guy seems to be quite capable in a fight. Bringing her as a witness isn't considered a violation. After letting Tang Yu rest in the office, Bai Wanyi went to find someone for a meeting. Soon, the city's leadership team gathered together. After a brief meeting, a special task force has been established. After the airport received the relevant notification, they also began adjusting flights in preparation for this capture operation. Dozens of police cars quietly arrived at the airport. First, evacuate the airport personnel to avoid any unexpected incidents during the capture operation. Hundreds of special police officers formed into small teams. At the airport, each exit is guarded. Even the sniper team is ready. This small passenger plane flying in from the Middle East. We have arrived over Suheng. When the plane has landed and come to a stop at the airport, the members of the Longhan organization disembarked from the plane. The flight attendants greeted them one by one with polite smiles. After this group of people got off the plane, they immediately closed the airplane door. In flight, the ground crew has already received the notification from the airport. Until today, there has been a capture operation. The man has just become the villain from the novel. They were seen as a cancer by the ultimate big boss. And once again, send a group of top experts to prepare for a bloodbath in Suhang. Fortunately, Tang Yu received the chess forecast from the system in advance. Quickly looking for Bai Wanyi to collaborate. Prepare to catch all these people in one go. After the members of the Longhan organization got off the plane, several police cars rushed into the airport and surrounded them. Dozens of armed SWAT officers jumped out of the vehicle and aimed at them. Suddenly surrounded by so many SWAT officers, the members of the Dragon Soul organization were instantly dumbfounded. Tang Yu and Bai Wanyi are now running over from behind. He stood out exceptionally among the crowd as he approached. After all, the special police are fully armed. He was the only one in casual clothes and exceptionally good-looking. It's hard not to notice him. The three Chrysanthemum sisters instantly recognized Tang Yu after seeing him. This is the primary target of their mission this time. Everyone is covering for the three of us. Today, I will take this guy with me even if it costs me my life." After the head of the Agricultural Bureau finished speaking, immediately two people pulled out two black original objects from their bosoms. This is a portable smoke bomb developed by the Longhorn organization before they could make any move. The special police have decisively opened fire. A dense barrage of bullets instantly formed a firepower net. These abilities are at least those of mid-stage experts in earthly self-destruction. At the scene, about 10 people were beaten into a beehive. The Chrysanthemum Three Sisters are known for their fierce nature. The three of them each grabbed a companion and hurled them towards the SWAT team. After creating a momentary gap in the firepower network, the three figures rushed toward Tang Yu like phantoms. I saw three women charging towards me. Tang Yu turned and ran. These are three truly peak monsters of self-destruction. But the speed of the three women is quite fast. They saw that Tang Yu was only at mid-level strength in self-destruction. The leader, Nong Ju, spoke up. "Go to grab a car. Two people are enough to kill this kid." Then one of the chrysanthemums immediately rushed towards a police car. The remaining two rushed behind Tang Yu. Han Lu launched an attack towards Tang Yu. After being caught up and attacked, Tang Yu also stopped running, standing firm, defending against the attacks of the two. There is a significant power gap between the two sides. Moreover, it's 1 against 2. But a glimmer of a smile flickered in his eyes. "Two? That works out perfectly." After forcibly defending for nearly a minute, Tang Yu had already taken at least 20 punches from the two women, but he wasn't hurt at all. These attacks were all absorbed by the immovable Kingbo. After a minute, it will be over. The two women adjusted their positions during the attack and stood in a straight line. After seeing their positions overlap, Tang Yu no longer hesitated. A decisive strike, a deliberate punch thrown. This punch merged the four invigorating techniques within him. Once again absorbed the damage from the two women's attack. Everyone felt a strong wind blowing against their faces. They didn't see how fast this punch was. I only saw the three Chrysanthemum sisters fly away. This punch first hit Nong Ju, who was standing at the front. He flew backwards and crashed into the bouncy flower behind him. The two women were like bowling balls. He flew out and collided with Chu Ju, who was opening a car door. The three girls collided into that police car. A punch hits the Chrysanthemum sisters. The internal organs and bones were shattered on the spot, dead beyond recovery. The remaining members of the Longhorn organization who wanted to resist saw this. Everyone was scared to the point of turning pale, looked at Tang Yu with incredulous eyes. After seeing the destructive power of Tang Yu's punch, Bai Wanyi was stunned while recalling the scene from that day at the casino. She hurriedly ran towards Tang Yu, calling out, "Tang Yu, are you okay?" Tang Yu just said me. The body softened and fell forward. This time, she precisely fell into Bai Wanyi's arms again. Bai Wanyi always felt that this plot seemed familiar. A princess suddenly descended and was directly carried onto the road. I took her to the hospital. The rest is up to you. After the SWAT team finished cheering, quickly capture all the mercenaries from the Dragon Soul organization. At this moment, only 4 or 5 members are still alive. Moreover, each of them was pierced by tree spears. After Tang Yu punched and killed the leading Chrysanthemum triplets, they have long lost their fighting spirit. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. Relying on new skills, I defeated 3 peak masters with a single punch. Bai Wanyi from the United Police Department captured all the assassins in one fell swoop. But I was also sent to the hospital due to exhaustion. After Tang Yu woke up, I have been lying in the hospital for 2 hours. After she opened her eyes, she didn't see Bai Wani. Instead, Sumayu sat on the edge of the bed. There was a hint of worry in her eyes. She already knows about what happened over there at the arena. Teng Yu smiled slyly and asked in her heart, "Dog system, what about the reward?" The system's voice activated, rewarding the host with god-level disguise skills. Appearance, figure, and voice can be restored to 100%, and there are no flaws to be seen. Hearing it's such an old and annoying reward, Tang Yu was also somewhat surprised. He tried to move his body. "I still find it a bit uncontrollable. That punch packed quite a punch." It was so overwhelming that even she could barely withstand it during her suicide phase. Of course, the power is also very obvious. Tang Yu was discharged from the hospital shortly after. "Tang Xiao, the century-old snow delicacy you wanted has arrived." "All three have arrived." "Arrived. All right, I can refine elixirs again. Unfortunately, it's too late for you to eat more." Tang Yu felt a slight sense of regret. "Let me teach you something amazing." Tang Yu smiled mischievously. "Decide to pass on the martial arts legacy obtained from Lu Junjuo's jade pendant to them." After just a short while of studying, they began to integrate several ancient martial arts techniques taught by Tang Yu. After merging for a while, neither of them succeeded. It might be due to different constitutions. Tang Xiao is a man. The meridians differ from ours in many aspects, so it can't be used. Shi Yin did think of the key point. Many ancient martial arts are divided by gender. Tang Yu was somewhat puzzled by this reason. At that moment, Qin Ming sent a WeChat message. "Elder brother, I haven't had a drink in a long time. Let's go out for a drink tomorrow." "Okay, then I'll pour you a drink." Hunting and having a barbecue at the same time. Ensure that Zio scratches. After replying to Qin Ming's WeChat message, Tang Yu threw her phone aside, then prepared to start alchemy. After the 3 cauldrons of elixirs are finished, a total of 21 wine pills, Tang Yu carefully poured the wine and powder into 4 small bottles. Each bottle contains 5 pieces. He prepared to eat the extra one himself after he consumed 3 chuanqi fruits. The cultivation level surged from the Mingxuan realm to the Mid-Dai realm, even laid a very solid foundation for the mid-term self-destruction. The edge of the cliff is not far now. Now take this wine essence pill. Just breaking through this bottleneck. After sensing the change in the power within, Tang Yu stretched comfortably. Unfortunately, the use limit for the wine seal Dan and the mysterious artifact fruit has been reached. Taking it again won't have any effect. Otherwise, he currently has 20 bottles of wine. After the Xuanqi fruit was harvested in large quantities, only 7 remained. After thinking about it, Tang Yu took out 2 bottles of wine. Each bottle contains 5 pieces. He had someone personally deliver this bottle of wine to He Jing in Africa. He Jing returned to Africa yesterday, said to continue training the troops. Strive to cultivate 100 self-encouragers for the Tang family. He hasn't tried the wine-infused pill yet. 3 wine pills swallowed down. A peak of self-destruction is undoubtedly effortless. As for the 2 extra ones, it's up to him how to arrange it. Another bottle of wine is sealed with a red seal. Tang Yu sent someone to deliver the message to the scholar's house. To help my cheap apprentice Wenren break through sooner. It can also be seen as gratitude for their trust in the Tang family. Did not stand with the Dragon Soul organization. Currently, the Suzhou and Hangzhou influence led by the literati is rising, has completely resigned to becoming a loyal supporter of the Tang family. Zio Yu has almost learned alchemy. when Wang Difa's farm starts producing precious medicinal herbs in bulk. Let this girl help with alchemy whether there's something to do or not. Achieve long-term stable and sustainable domination. In a manor somewhere in Paris. Lin Fan's body was lying on the ground. An elderly bald man weeps bitterly beside. The old man let out a few loud shouts, wiped away a tear, and acted as if nothing happened. After the great defeat in Suju and Hangzhou, made his mood quite terrible. Years of planning destroyed in an instant. Even in the end, the group sent out, the Chrysanthemum Three Sisters, was lost. It's not easy to train so many masters of suicide. After letting out a sigh, the old Dragon King didn't pay much attention. His plan was originally to advance cautiously step by step. First, take Suju and Hangzhou before advancing north to Beijing. Now that Lin Fan has failed, the pieces from Su and Hang have all been uprooted. He no longer wants to waste time and resources on this chessboard of Suju and Hangzhou. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. They wiped out the entire nest of elite assassins sent by the old Dragon King. This made Dragon King very upset. Preparing to change the plan. Aim for Yanjin. At that moment, a figure rushed in from outside. She is a woman around 40 years old. Mei Yan shares some similarities with Lin Fan. He rushed in and immediately saw Lin Fan's corpse. Just lay on top like an old dog, puffing away. Old Dragon King, quickly use your unbeatable skills and wisdom to think of a solution. Hearing the words invincible, old Dragon King Waiwei frowned. This term is not a good thing at all. I cannot go to Huaxia for certain reasons at the moment. If you want revenge, go do it yourself. The Dragon Soul organization will not take action against Su Hang for now. You said, my son's body should not be buried yet. Let him rest in peace, covered in his own skin. After saying that, he turned and strode away. Tang Yu, busy handling new business at the company, suddenly shivered. Silently asked myself, Dog system, is it that the Wolf King and the Tiger General have made sacrifices again? I have no idea. Did you hear that? Tang Yu didn't ask much. However, based on Tang Yu's experience with traversing, the child of destiny will surely appear again. After leaving the company, Tang Yu drove straight to Fisherman's Villa. Today I arranged to drink here with Qin Ming. After arriving at Fisherman's Villa, Qin Ming had been waiting here for a while. Tang Yu has arrived. He went up for a hug. Tang Yu punched this guy on the shoulder. The gaze fell on Qin Kexin, who was standing behind. Qin Kexin smiled lightly, looking at Tang Yu with her long, beautiful eyes. What have you been busy with these days? Make sure to take breaks occasionally. Let's relax well today. Let's go hunt first. Hunting? Sure. Tang Yu hasn't been here to play for a long time. There is also some anticipation. The three of them went in and changed into hunting gear. They walked towards the hunting grounds with their weapons in hand. The hunting grounds mainly surround this large area at the foot of the mountain. After Tang Yu's strength improved, all physical abilities have greatly improved. There's no need to elaborate on vision and hearing. He looked around and finally set his sights on a wild rabbit hiding in the grass. Seeing the wild rabbit trying to escape, Tang Yu knocked his bow and shot an arrow. This arrow accurately predicted the rabbit's escape direction. Shoot the rabbit into the ground. The three continued hunting. However, it mainly focuses on Tang Yu. He can hit the target with almost every arrow he shoots. Soon after, the harvest was plentiful. When the staff of the villa handled the prey, a female staff member is standing at a distance, coldly staring at Tang Yu. She glared at Tang Yu through clenched teeth, mumbled in his mouth, It was you who killed my son. Today I must personally bite off your little brother to avenge my son. After the barbecue is done, the three of them sat at the table, joyfully toasting and exchanging cups. After eating and drinking to their fill, they let the waiter bring some tea. Soon the kitchen delivered the lemonade, bringing tea over. It is Lin Fan's mother, Deng Hui. After learning that Tang Yu wanted to drink tea, she had already added deadly poison to the tea on her way here. This poison is made from the venom of 4 different snakes, colorless and tasteless, yet highly toxic. You will die 5 minutes after taking it. I saw it was delivered by an ant. Tang Yu quickly pulled out his wallet and handed over a few bills as a tip. Deng Hui quickly smiled and thanked. I plan to stuff this dirty money into this kid's pocket to vent my frustration. Tang Yu waved his hand. He poured himself a cup of tea and started drinking. For some reason, today, this tea goes down smoothly, fragrant and sweet. Standing at a distance, Deng Hui saw Tang Yu drink 2 cups of tea in a row. Yingdai's eyes held a hint of ecstasy. This kid is afraid that the king of hell won't take him away, right? But what troubled him was, 5 full minutes later, this guy remains indifferent. 10 minutes later, he was still drinking tea, and I have already had 4 cups. There are no signs of poisoning at all. Deng Hui murmured to herself, quickly turned and ran to the bathroom. He took out the bottle of poison he had kept close to his heart, opened the bottle. He leaned in close to the bottle and took a deep sniff, doubting whether my poison has gone stale. After taking a deep sniff, a tingling sensation began to spread throughout the body from the nasal cavity. He felt a sudden dizziness. He quickly capped the bottle, almost fainting on the ground. After taking a few deep breaths, it felt much better. Is he a naturally immune body? This made him grit his teeth in hatred. It seems I have to do it myself. His strength has now reached the pinnacle of the Earth's self-destruction level. As long as you get close, take advantage of the opportunity without being suddenly ambushed. Even a master of self-destruction can fall into their own trap. The next scene will also be very tragic. The man has just transformed into the villain from the novel, easily killed the protagonist. Now his mother has come to seek revenge. Transformed into a servant at the Mingshan Manor, poison was heavily laced in the tea of the sugar fish. Unexpectedly, the sugar fish has a body that is immune to all poisons. Deng Hui, feeling helpless, I can only do it myself. So she walked from the kitchen carrying a plate of fruit towards the 3 of them, forced a smile, and said, 3 distinguished guests. This is a fruit platter. Please enjoy. If it's not enough, let me know. Tang Yu feels that this aunt is quite enthusiastic. Couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow. It should be, it should be. Then I took away these empty plates. Deng Hui was exchanging pleasantries with Tang Yu. I already wish I could bite the sweet fish to death. He pretended to tidy up the empty plates on the table. In truth, there is already a poisoned dagger hidden in the palm. As long as the candy fish shifts its gaze, he was completely confident that he could cut through the window with 1 stroke. As for the 2 ordinary people on the side, he was no match for him at all. At this moment, a guest suddenly shouted from a distance. 3 people at the table were instantly captivated. I glanced over subconsciously, just as Tang Yu turned her head. He just held his breath, ready to strike stealthily. The sweet fish just turned its head back again, because he never intended to go see it. It's just my neck feels a bit uncomfortable, just need to twist it a bit. This almost scared Deng Hui out of her wits. He forcefully restrained his strength. As a result, the body lost control and fell to the ground with a thud. The plates in his hands all fell to the ground and shattered into pieces.